Good morning. Good morning. Okay. I think it's working now. I'm just having some internet trouble. So let me just see if the chat is working. I had to kind of tether off my mobile phone. So where I am, the internet's just really pants. Sorry about that. So a little bit of a delayed start. And I think we're good now. I'm just looking at the bandwidth, and we're getting pretty good bandwidth right now. So I think it should be okay. If there's any problems, just let me know. Let me just make sure the chat's working, because that's also a problem, isn't it? Sometimes. Since they've got 2 concurrent views. Testing. Yeah, that's working. All right. Sorry about that, guys. What do you expect? El Salvador, and things aren't always perfect, but you know, it's all good. So I'm going to have a look at Bitcoin this morning. I'm going to have a look at the previous price action and the trade plans that I had ready. See where we can find some support on this dip and see what could happen next, potentially. We're going to have a look at QANX, and also we're going to have a look at TRVL, and that's basically the 3 tokens I'm going to be looking at today: Bitcoin, QANX, and TRVL. Because I was having some internet problems, I was thinking about going longer, but I don't want to tether off my phone for indefinitely. So again, I'll probably keep it short. I was planning to do a 2-hour stream today, but I can't do that while I'm tethering off my phone, like an emergency stop measure. So I'm going to have to just try and keep it as short as possible again. Sorry about that. All right, so let's have a look at, what do we look at? Bitcoin. So this is the trade plan I had. Let me just hide these now. Which one is that one? SR flip. Okay, we'll kind of keep that. Let's have a look at the volume levels. As I always do, look at the volume levels first. Got the higher range volume, got the local volume, got 2 volume levels. Get rid of these MPOX, these higher time frame levels. The SR flip is still in play. And let's just kind of update the volume across this range, all the way from when I started it. That's the higher range. Let's have a look at that. Can't see any changes on the higher range. See that? Not many changes. Let's change that to the kind of the more local range. Yeah. Local value area low is a little bit lower. The point of control is still up there, as you can see. So nothing really to write home about, is there? That's the volume over the last week or so. I haven't looked at the charts in about a week. And let me just hide those now. Let's look at these higher time frame levels. Let me just update them. Have a look at this monthly level. We've hit that monthly level. Do you see that? And then we're having a big rejection from that monthly level already. There was a weekly level there. That's been hit now. Basically, it just sold off from the week. Weekly level, we're coming into a weekly level there. Those levels are correct. Then we're going to have a look at the daily levels now. Got one there. There. We're coming into one in this weekly level. It's quite a big level there, because that's a daily level and a weekly level. We haven't hit it yet, and then we've got a daily lower down there. And this is again another big level lower down. So we have our levels. We have our local volume, got a higher range volume. We've done that now. Let's have a look at the order flow quickly to see what's going on with the order flow. Let me refresh this. Getting a little bit of bearish divergence here. The price is above the daily open, it's above the VWAP. Generally speaking, that's a bullish sign. Getting slight bearish diversion here, slightly higher CVD, slightly lower prices, slightly bearish CVD here locally. And obviously, when you're comparing it to this low here, have we taken out the low? Not yet. So slightly bullish CVD here across this local range, slightly, not something to write home about. And you can see that there was quite bullish CVD here as the price dropped. And as the price is going up, the CVD became extremely bearish. CVD went up and then the price couldn't go up and then it dropped. But right now we're getting slightly bearish CVD, but we are above the daily open and the VWAP, and that generally is a bullish sign. So generally speaking, when you're above the daily VWAP and the daily open, you wait for the price to lose those key levels. The daily open is a key level. If you lose that, then actually it will start to go down. So I would argue that we are kind of neutral to bullish at the moment. Let me have a look at these. See if there's any naked points of control. There is one here, 115620. Mark that out. Have the look at the weekly. Higher up. 117366. Have a look at the monthly. $105, basically 105. Okay, we've got those numbers now. Let's have a look at the session TPO. Some single prints there. I'll mark those off. One 1104542 110610. Big selling tail there. Some single prints there. 115042 to 15146. Anything else? No, looks okay. I'll have a look at this chart as well, just see if I can get some blocks of single prints and selling tail. There's one there. I've already marked that off pretty much. This one actually appears differently. See that? So actually maybe this is the better one. 109693 to 110 616. Basically, I had that. It's just a slightly wider range on the SP. The single prints there. Why? What's going on? I can't zoom that. Refresh that. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to zoom out. Right, whatever. Okay. Just quickly have a look at the order flow again, the imbalances. Yeah, slightly bearish CBD here, slightly bearish above the daily open, underneath the VWAP now. Kind of a little bit range bound, slightly bearish CBD. See, the longs are getting absorbed. Shorts are closing, they're getting absorbed. Not much movement. Okay. Yesterday's daily candle looks appalling, doesn't it? Look at that. Bam. It's already a massive bullish, bearish engulfing. Another bearish engulfing. You see these bearish engulfing candles. One there, one there. Yeah. So it all started with this bearish engulfing. See that? Bearish engulfing. It all started with that bearish engulfing, and then this is a bullish engulfing here. This one here. That gets reversed. That was a bull trap. And here you fail to make higher closes. And the price just pulls all the way back. Okay. I'm kind of telling you what's going on with the charts right now. Look at the 3-day chart. Big sell-off. That weekly time frame. We needed a weekly. We needed to hold above there. Closed up. Couldn't hold though. We're just... That's a big SR flip and it's not flipping. So... Just checking my stream. I'm getting good upflow. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of add these end parts just to have the updated ones on my chart, because I haven't updated it in a while. Get rid of that one. So let's just make sure they're okay. The monthly one, that was the monthly one. That's pretty good. Then we have a daily one, 115620. Weekly one, 117. Almost 7366. Okay. The monthly one is fine. Okay. So those are good. Updated. I'm going to look at the single prints. We have to look at the CME gap as well. Look at that single print. Look how here it held as resistance. Bam. Right into the single print rejection. And so we have some more single prints now. 109693. $693. Kind of into it at the moment, are we? Look at that. And then that's extending to 11061. 1106166. What the hell happened? Let me do that again. did that wrong. Okay, whatever. There. We have up there, I think, 115042. To 110610. What the hell? Why is it vanishing? One 5042. It's the same place. Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. 115146. Okay, whatever. Okay. So we get our lines back in. That's the liquidity. The black is the illiquidity. We're coming to a big liquid area here, slightly lowered down. Let's have a look at the CME gap. See if that was filled by any chance. Just have to find the right chart. Where are you? The right chart. Shit, lost it. There it is. The futures CME. Wednesday, Thursday. There's not really a gap there, is there? Okay. There's no gap, so that's fine. Don't have to worry about the gap. It's good to check these things because you just don't know until you check. And basically the lines are the liquid areas, the black spaces are the illiquid areas. This is my Friday price action. And when you're kind of looking at it, it looks like it played out the way I wanted it to play out. Okay. And so just looking at this, I'll hide these again. That was my Sunday analysis. That was the short, that pit. And then I was looking for it to find support there. It didn't find support. And then the Friday movements, that was key. And effectively what I was looking at, where's my trade plan? There they are. We're either looking to find support here and go up. So there's a potential long, but it didn't find support. As you can see, there was no reaction. It just went through that level. And then what you had was it went down to this area of interest. It kind of went down a little bit quicker, but it went into the area of interest. It went down, hit my level, came up, found resistance for the short. You see that? So it went down. It did this. It went hit the area of long, went into the short, and then it went down. So it's done it on a more compressed time scale, but the idea was correct in the sense that it went into the areas where it found the support and reaction, went into areas and found resistance, and that's kind of why I had a long from here and a short from there. And basically that's what happened. It's kind of flipped that area from support into resistance. It couldn't find support and it's flipped it into resistance. There was no long, it was a short, and you can see that's the short there. of that movement there. So that was correct. Huh? So this price action was good. And that also means that that level that I have is an SR flip, because you can clearly see the SR flip, can't you? That's what happened. And now, if we get rid of those 5-day movements and we put the liquidity back in, go to a slightly higher time frame on the daily level, what we are looking at now is a lower high. How far did it come up? All the way into the golden pocket. Look at that. Tap the golden pocket perfectly. That was the big short that I was talking about, wasn't it? If you remember, if you follow my streams, that was the big short that I was looking for into that area. So what next? Well, are we going up or down? Well, usually when the price is going down, you're thinking up. And when the price is going up, you're thinking down. And it's always good to be in that mindset. So as the price now goes down, I'm thinking up. Okay. But where? And I can see here clearly there's a really important area of support. We've got the weekly level. I don't know why I've got this marked out as a CME gap. It's probably a daily level here. One of these previous all-time high levels. I think that's where the price could hold as support. And then the question is what happens next? We don't know. Let me just do the volume here. Usually what happens when the price comes to the lows, people get bearish and they start shorting, and that's how the price goes up. So right now people are looking at this and feeling quite bearish, and therefore they're going to start shorting. You see this bearish engulfing, they're going to start shorting now. Yeah. So rather than short into resistance, they'll wait for the price to come into support and start shorting into support. And these are highly liquid areas, and so it's going to take a lot of shorting to push through a lot. And even if you short a lot, if you can't break through the liquidity, you could squeeze and then you get the bounce pump. So definitely not a good place to short. But we are underneath these single prints, so you are going to get some shorts coming into this support area. Look at the weekly time frame. Yeah, it's really not a good place to short because you've already moved. Look at that weekly candle. Look how much it's moved. It's moved a lot, huh? So you would kind of coming into this weekly area. I think that's it. I think the down move is over, to be honest with you. Just looking, how much more is that candle, that red candle, going to print? Is that red candle going to go all the way down to here or here? It's not likely, huh? It's possible, but it's not likely unless you get some kind of crazy news. So I think we should hold here, huh? Off that previous all-time high, that level that I have marked out. I think this is where we hold. The question is, do you put in a lower low or do you put in a higher low here? No one knows that. No one can predict that. It is looking bearish though. Huh? What the fuck? Look at that. Wow. I don't know which pivot to take it. Which one do you take? Is it broken or is it still in? Mm-hmm. Arguably, we're still above it, huh? Now we're finding, now is a test. Just looking at the way the price has moved around this line, if you extend it, protract it a little bit, all the way from that first pivot, March, the 5th of March. Arguably, we're still in, looking at it. I'm taking the volume from the all-time high to the current price. Oh, it's taking some time, isn't it? Why it's taking so long? So annoying. I'm clearly lagging still, huh? So 236. So, okay, so longing and shorting. Longing, you're looking for a sign of strength. Shorting, you're looking for signs of weakness. We're clearly seeing weakness, but you can't short the lows. So really right now what we're looking for is a sign of strength. That's really what we're looking for. I can see here that we've got this 236 level lined up with this volume from the all-time high to the current price. So clearly we need to flip that area into some kind of support. We're into some single prints now. If we fill them, there's a chance that we'll go up quite fast, quite quickly. And then you have to kind of flip that area into support. And then we have a chance to go up. So I think I want to see that area flipped. This is potentially a good place to long, just because of this kind of weird trend line that I've drawn that seems to be working. And I think we're just coming in to test this trend line. We do have this kind of weekly level, daily level underneath us, and we're into this high volume node, as you can see. So I do think this is probably a good area for the price to find support here. Yeah, and it could go down lower. You could bottom here a little bit, a local bottom here. But the real sign of strength is going to be to reclaim that 236 level, which is also the down move value area low. Getting back into that value area would be a sign of strength. And once you see that, you'll start getting longing, you'll start getting shorts close a bit more aggressively. And so in the short term, while this could be a good place to long, because we are into a highly liquid area where shorts can get trapped. That's kind of what the longs are here now, trap shorts. And there's a single prints here. If we can kind of trap enough shorts to push through, then we're actually going to find ourselves back into this range, this higher range. Then if we find support off there, then a flip of that level would be a good place to go up all the way back up to the point of control. Okay, right up to there. It's kind of where I'm at right now in terms of the price action, up and then up, as long as we don't lose this area. I think putting in a lower low here could be problematic. Taking out the low could be problematic. So it'd be nice if we just held for a higher low here, to be honest with you. I think that would be quite bullish, holding for a higher low here. And then maybe we range here a little bit. You know, something like that. Kind of where my mind is at right now. And then if it rejects off that point of control, then the big long would be here, back test of that 236. So you have the first test, you have the push all the way back down to the big test, which could correspond with this trend line here. So I'm kind of thinking like that at the moment, some kind of unusual pennant shape here, some kind of shape forming rather than a move, some kind of shape forming like that. And then we could get either a break up or a breakdown. Break up would be easy to see because it would just break up. They needed quite a lot of volume to get through this liquidity because we still haven't cleared all of it. And then obviously a breakdown would be down. And then we're heading for these lows here for 100K effectively. That's kind of where you're heading for if you break down. I think that's it. I think that's Bitcoin. Trade, I think now is a good place to long actually, just if we don't take that pivot low or if we have an entry off a swing failure. It's a good place to long, taking it up to 115 area. And maybe to see some kind of compression here. If we can flip that 236 into support, then this is going to start looking quite bullish. If we can flip that area, that 111, 113 area into support, then this would be actually look quite bullish. All right, so that's Bitcoin for today. I kind of had a look at it in depth with a quick summary now. Who knows? Yeah, not financial advice. It's just entertainment value only. Speculative. Yeah, always wait for the reaction before you take a trade. You don't just take a trade. Like this is a reaction now, isn't it? So you could argue that there's a long, potentially a long here. As long as we don't take that pivot low that's just been put in, which is always possible. This is the area of kind of you're trading for a higher low here rather than a lower low. You were trading for a higher low, just to kind of compress here in this tight range all the way up to the 115 level, back into that little range. That's bullish. Back test of the value area low, volume comes in, point of control moves to the lows, and then break out to the upside, heading for all-time highs. It's kind of where I'm at right now, and obviously you can always break down. Okay, so that's a quick summary of my Bitcoin analysis for today. And actually this is for the week. Potentially I'm not planning to stream more than once a week anymore, just because I'm getting really busy here in El Salvador. Lots of great things are happening here in El Salvador. That's what I'm going to talk about now actually. So TRVL is the token of choice, my choice. That's why I'm wearing my TRVL hat, my D-Travel hat. You see that? And I've got my D-Travel t-shirt. I'm not shilling a token. I think you should always do your own research. Always do your own research. Never just trust anyone. Never trust some random person from the internet who's telling you this is a great coin. Because you have to do your own research. You have to be responsible for your own investment portfolio, your own value, and never trust anyone. So don't trust me. Go on to dtravel.com, have a look, do your own research, click on every link here and have a look. Some of the data is out of date, and so that's just the only thing to take into consideration. If you go to the about, you see this is the leadership. This is incorrect. Yeah, Cynthia is gone. Bruno is gone. I don't know who. I've never met Trang. I am assuming gone. Jeremy, I'm assuming gone. And then who has left? Ty, James, Quinn, and Eric. They are left. They've taken over the leadership. The new CEO is Eric Pace. He was head of business development, supply growth. It says here it was business development. partnerships, but actually he ended up running the whole show on an operational side, while Ty was doing the technical, the techie side, and then James was doing the marketing and the website SEO and all that stuff, and then Quinn was doing the front end product and all the tech behind the front end. So Eric is now taking over the CEO as the CEO of D-Travel. It hasn't been announced yet. And then all of this is going to get updated. All of this is going to get updated. But there's still information here that's useful. And it's all relevant still in many ways. So when you're going to have a look at the TRVL token, this is all still correct. Half of it has been locked. So 500 million has been locked and won't be released. So it's still slightly out of date. Total supply 1 billion. Half of it's been locked, but more than half of it is under the control of the foundation, and the foundation at the moment is inactive because Cynthia, who was the CEO, also happened to be the chair of the foundation, and she stepped down, or she's stepping down as the chair of the foundation also. So there's some big changes happening. Has Cynthia sold out and gone? No one can talk of the future when it comes to people's own personal decisions. But from what I've heard, she's dealing with a lot of things in her personal life. She hasn't got the time anymore for running or operating a crypto startup, and it requires a lot of time. It requires a lot of energy, maximum effort. You know, she's a mother now, and so she's stepping down in her official duties with regards to travel across the board. But she still owns and holds TRVL. She hasn't sold out. And so what you got from this drop, and so there was a little bit of a drop when Cynthia initially announced that she was stepping down. It happened here. I think it was here. And then the price recovered, and it's kind of come down. It's correcting. So basically what's happened with TRVL is a correction. When you're looking at the price action, it's very easy and clear to see that this whole down move is a correction. Yeah, it's not a sell-off. None of this is a sell-off. Even though this is a sell-off. You see that as a sell-off? That was a buyback. These are sell-offs, but we're getting corrective price action. We're getting very different price action to how TRVL was when it really was selling off. If you look at here, that was a sell-off and there was no real attempt at buying back. Yeah. Right now, what we're seeing is a correction, and effectively we've been in this range from the all-time low to this weekly high. And so we are in weekly bullish market structure. And that's the other thing that I wanted to just share with you guys. Technically on the charts, it still is bullish. It may not feel like it right now, but it is. This was your lower low. This was your higher high. This was your higher low. This was your higher high. So you're putting in higher highs, you're putting in higher lows. That's bullish. It means that the market overall is buying more than it's selling. And so what we are doing now here is formulating a bottom structure, a bottoming structure. The month is almost out, and we're getting quite high volume on this sell. We're at the bottom of the previous month low, and we're getting quite strong volume, but I'm just thinking to myself, if we can hold this monthly range, then that would be okay. That would be a good, it would just be a range bound candle, or an inside candle as you would call it. Right now the 3-month candle is looking really bullish because you've got ever increasing volume, and now we're coming to test the beginnings of this 3-month candle. And so I'm not looking at this and going, oh my God, this is really bearish, this is going down. I actually feel like after all of the volume and all the selling, we're doing quite well, because it means those people who wanted to sell made a little bit of profit, they're out, but the price isn't crashing, it's just correcting. And we are in weekly bullish structure, market structure. So now we have to see what happens next with the token price. I'll do a volume pull on it. We're in the range, the volume range. You see that? We're coming to test the value area low. These are tests. Tried to find support in the golden pocket, couldn't. Coming to test the 786. What did I say before? That's what I said. Remember that? There. So I had it possibly for the 1 to 1.68, but we are coming into that area, aren't we? We are coming into an area now where we could be forming some kind of butterfly if the price takes out that pivot low, or a bat if it doesn't. And that's, we're still there, huh? We're still in that area. And so when I did this, when I created this idea, we were kind of trading around here, and you can see what's happening. You can see that it is actually heading for my targeted area to form a, but this is a bullish harmonic. And so the price is coming down very gently, and this is what you want to see when the price corrects. You want to see the price come down gently. This Thursday would be the 1 to 2, and next Thursday would be the 1 to 2.618. So we've passed Thursday. That was yesterday. Today's Friday. We are in that area, and so possibly what I'm thinking is we do pivot, find the pivot low here. The question is, does it take out this X or not? It doesn't matter, because when I was looking at the harmonics here, the difference was a bat or a butterfly. It's basically the same, except the butterfly takes the starting point X. Yeah, that would be a butterfly. That would be a bat. It doesn't really matter, but this is kind of where we're at when it comes to TRVL, and it could happen this week or the beginning of next week, i.e. next month. Okay. So this is actually looking quite good from a technical perspective. We're just forming a bullish harmonic here. And the next thing we want to see is a real nice injection of volume and a real nice move to the upside. Now that I'm looking at the daily time frame, I can see decreasing prices, decreasing volume. So that for me means it's not as bearish as it looks. And we'll go to the weekly time frame. Have a look at that. I can't see the volume. Why is there no volume? Give me some volume. There it is. Potentially decreasing volume, decreasing prices. Let's just see how this week plays out on that. So I'm not feeling too bearish at the moment. Just because of that harmonic that I drew, and it kind of feels like we're still in that harmonic, potentially just trying to find this pivot D before we get an uptick, an up move to the 50 fib in the first instance. That would take us above the golden pocket, and then we could have a really nice bounce and spring out of these lows. That's kind of what we're looking for next. Okay, so I think that's technically what's on the table. And then going back to El Salvador, I'm here in El Salvador. I'm here in sunny El Salvador. Not many clouds. The weather's starting to improve. Rainy season is about to end. And so I've got news and updates, but I don't know how much I can say. Last week, Eric Pace from D-Travel, who's the CEO of D-Travel, this hasn't been updated. This is going to get updated very soon. So that's going to be a big deal. He is the CEO. He lives in Austin. He came to visit me in El Salvador for 6 days. He was here for 6 days. We hung out for 6 days. Every day for 6 days, we were hanging out, talking about D-Travel, talking about TRVL, talking about the past, the present, and the future. And what I can tell you is that there's a lot of amazingly good things coming for D-Travel and TRVL. That's all I can say, actually. Unfortunately, I can't reveal any more information about the future, except that if you've been following my streams for the last 2 years, you would have got some information in the past about my ideas. And so what's happened is that Eric has come, he's seen El Salvador, he's listened, he's heard, he understands, and he is going to push us and take us to the next part of our journey together. And I'm 100% confident and convicted that he is the right person to take us, to take D-Travel to a multi-billion-dollar status. I really believe that, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart. I believe that Eric is the man to do this. I genuinely believe that. I always have, and I've mentioned it in the past in not so many words. I initially called for the leadership to change. I had to step down back in February because there was too much pushback, there was too much animosity. And then effectively they stood down, and then the person that I wanted to take over took over, Eric. And now Eric is leading the charge for the next version or the next iteration of D-Travel. And I think most people, if not all people who are watching my streams or listening to me, will love everything that's about to happen with D-Travel, with TRVL, and with the growth of our network. So there are some massive things happening. The only other thing I can say is that Eric is returning to El Salvador in 2 weeks' time with his family. Okay. And so that's a big deal. So if you guys are following what's happening in El Salvador from afar, let me kind of give you some information from up close. This place is happening crypto-wise. El Salvador is happening crypto-wise. It may take a few years to show, but this is fast becoming a major crypto hub. Tech entrepreneurs, tech startups, tech businesses, this place is starting to happen. And I think it's a real powerful sign that D-Travel are taking this development very seriously, and we're looking to do some great things here. And that's basically as much as I can say. I trust Eric 100%. I think he's the right person, the right time, right place. He basically ran the show while Cynthia was on maternity leave and dealing with her own kind of personal life. And as she stepped down, he rose up to take over as CEO. And I really believe that we are on the right track now to go to amazing heights. And so I'm really confident in that. There isn't really much else to report other than the links that I usually go to. You can go to for yourself. The D-Travel Network Analytics, you can go and have a look for yourself. And there's slow growth there. It isn't still exponential growth, which is what I will be expecting in the near future. With the changes that are happening in D-Travel, big changes. So once all those changes are done and announced, and once everyone is clear about the future, all of the FUD is going to disappear. Because right now what people are experiencing is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That is what is happening. So when you're looking at the charts over the last period of time, it's all fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And since I came back in July, I've been trying to bring certainty, eliminate the fear, and remove the doubt. But still there is uncertainty. And there is uncertainty. Why? Because I'll give you an example of the uncertainty. When you go and look at the documentation, it's out of date. It's not correct. The Night Pro, all of it is not correct. It's outdated because it reflects a previous leadership. It reflects a previous direction, a direction that we're no longer going to go anymore. We're not following that direction anymore. We're following a completely new direction. Largely that direction was directed and guided by Travala. And so what's happening now is that we're becoming our own creation. It's like a new birth, and with a new leadership, and that hasn't been reflected in the documentation. So there's uncertainty. When you look at the tokenomics and the token, there's uncertainty because you're looking at this and you're wondering what's going on. I don't quite understand. I never really have. And this all needs to be simplified and understood. That's going to bring certainty. No one really understands why there's 635 million total TRVL vested, what that actually means, who has control over that, and if and when that's going to be released onto public. No one really knows. That brings uncertainty. This is what the previous team did. The previous leadership brought uncertainty, and that created an air of fear and doubt in the leadership, and doubt for the future, and fear because people were scared that all of a sudden their investments would crash to zero. That's changing. So this is all changing. Everything's changing. Okay. And what we will do is we're going to eliminate the fear, the uncertainty, and the doubt. So everyone will know exactly what will happen with the token for the future, all the way to the end of eternity. That's going to eliminate all of the uncertainty, eliminate the fear, and eliminate the doubt, because now you will see a team, a leadership team that is taking control of the narrative. We will take the control of the narrative ourselves as hosts and investors, and we will support the new leadership, which is effectively Eric, James, Quinn, and Ty. And this is the beginning of the future, because new people will come, people who are also passionate about decentralized travel and who will learn and understand what's happening, the turnaround and the new direction that we're going, and they're going to join us in the future. That's what's going to happen. So I'm really excited about Eric coming back to El Salvador again. If you come out to El Salvador, I'm here. I'm happy to have a drink. I'm not drinking alcohol these days. I'm just drinking my El Salvadorian coffee. But I'm happy to, or lemonade without sugar. So we can come and have a without sugar lemonade. And as you can tell by my face, I'm really happy and excited about the future. Like, for me, the uncertainty and doubt and fear has been eliminated, and there's more to come. So just watch this page. The best place to kind of interact is going to be the Telegram channel. And so let me go to the Telegram now, just to kind of show you and give you some updates. There's been some conversations in the TRVL channel. So if you've missed it, there's been some conversations there. Firstly, I'm only doing a once a week stream now. I'm not doing it 3 times a week. I'm doing it once a week. I'm trying to cut back on the amount of time I'm streaming at the moment, because I'm doing a lot of things here on the ground in El Salvador. And I think for most people, it's quite repetitive and boring to just have multiple streams. And so I'm going to try and do, like, my internet's not worked properly today, but hopefully once I figure this out, I'll have a really nice long update, like a long weekly update on Fridays. And there's been some conversation, Kitty Commie, who has been talking about Discord. This deleted account is Andrea, I guess. I think she's having some problems with her account. Andrea, that's her. If you don't know her, she's our community manager. She's in Indonesia now at the moment. And I think it's possible that we go back to Discord because of the changes that are happening with D-Travel. There's some big changes happening, big changes. We're talking about complete turnaround. And I think there is a possibility that we go back to Discord as the communities grow and as we grow from an investor perspective and also from a host perspective. There's a lot of things happening here in El Salvador. And so again, I'm just repeating that. So that's kind of what some of the conversation's been going on. Here, Jay talks about the growth of the token looks very disconnected to the actual project. This is what I've been saying a long time, like really from the beginning, Jay. And it is a flag and it is high risk because people have been found it difficult to find a connection between the value of TRVL and the value of the network and the value of the technology and the value of a peer-to-peer decentralized network project that we're building. And it'd be a smaller investment until more clarity. Well, let me tell you something. The clarity is coming. There's going to be real clarity for the future. We're going to eliminate the FUD once and for all. You're going to know exactly where we're going, and it's going to make sense. And you will know exactly how and when the rest of the TRVL will be released into the community for growth. You'll know. Okay, that's going to eliminate the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And right now, people have no idea what's happening, and that's what's changing. And so I've mentioned that everything will change, and it's not going to be like Ava. It's going to be much, much, much better. And again, Kitty Com is talking about being here for 4 years, like me, and the team has made its mind on how to empower the role of TRVL with the tokenomics that makes sense. At least that was also the reason between the fallout between me and Sin a few months ago. Again, Kitty Commie, this is all changing. Yeah, I was right, but I'm not here to boast or gloat about being right. I just want us now to move on, learn from the past, which we have, and never to repeat the same mistakes. The first thing we need to do is to make it clear what's happening now and going forward in the future. We need to bring certainty to the token, to the project, and the value of the token and the value of the project. That's what we need to do. And then we need to go out there and execute. Okay? And I think a large part of the future will be El Salvador for many reasons outside of D-Travel, but also I think this is going to be a real central place in the future of Central South America with respect to the USA. So there's going to be a lot of actual real capital value coming into this country. And so just D-Travel has an opportunity to grow with the growth of El Salvador as well. And so there are many compelling reasons for D-Travel to focus here. And so that's kind of part of the reason why I'm here too. So yeah, so it's quite exciting. And so you can go onto Telegram and have a look. We're probably going to go to Discord soon, probably. I'm not sure when. And that's just kind of like my gut feeling and the conversations that we've been having. We had an event here in El Salvador last week, and it was a really successful event, a D-Travel event. Very low key. We didn't make a hurrah about it, but we had a really nice event here with lots of people coming, hosts, investors, community, different people from different parts of the communities here. And Eric was here. I was there. I actually done all the cooking. Can you believe it? I cooked for everyone. And I think it was a really successful event. There'll probably be some videos appearing in the near future. And I'm really excited about that. All right. So stay in touch on the Telegram. And let me quickly have a look at the X page. I haven't looked at it in a week. Have a look and see what's going on. The last post was September 23rd. D-Travel attended the Korea Blockchain Week. So I guess that was Andrea. Yep. That's her. Okay. So we haven't had much more information. Oh, look, this is interesting. What did she say? Real crypto travel adoption will happen in countries where no one's looking. So going back to the charts, not financial advice, but this is a really, really good place to accumulate, isn't it? Look at the volume. we're getting nice volume in these lows now. This is a really nice place to accumulate TRVL. If people haven't bought in, this is a good place to buy. Is the timing right? Potentially, yeah. I mean, they say buy the rumor, sell the news, but I think after you hear the changes that are going to happen, you will never want to sell this token ever again. Ever. That's how excited I am about the changes that are going to happen. And not only not sell, you're going to want to buy more. And I think that sentiment is going to rapidly spread across anyone who's interested in this project. They'll be like, oh shit, I can't sell this. I'm actually going to end up buying more quickly. And that's when we're going to get a real kind of boost to the upside. And what happens then is if we can get back into this range, and I don't see why we can't with what's about to happen, then this whole thing becomes a massive sign of strength. Lose the range, get back into the range. Once you're back into the range, the next move is an explosive move to the upside. That's how it works. So the key level for us will be the previous all-time low at 2 cents. If we get back into the range, then this whole thing becomes mega bullish, extremely bullish. Yeah. Then it doesn't really matter when we break out, but the probability will be to a breakout to the upside if we can get back into the range after losing the range low with volume. And that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing volume. Okay. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out over the next few months. But I really think that everyone is going to be extremely, extremely happy and surprised at what is going to be proposed and the changes that are going to be implemented in D-Travel with respect to TRVL. And this is the thing that's not happened in the past. There's always been a disconnect, and that's what Jay was talking about in Telegram, the disconnect. That is the first thing that's changing, this disconnect. We're changing that. Okay. So watch this space. Look, the growth of the token looks very disconnected to the actual project. But more than that, not only will there be an actual connection, a real connection, the growth of the real world project is going to exponentially increase as well. Starting here in El Salvador, there's going to be massive growth, and it's not just going to be in the host network; it'll also be in the travelers too. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of big changes, and the marketing is going to be exceptional. I can tell you that. That's also changing. You're going to be surprised. A lot of people are going to be like, wow, what just happened? And for a lot of people, they're going to be like, thank God I held and I'm never selling. That's kind of what I'm feeling right now. So anyway, good luck, guys. We're almost there. We're almost there at the end. We're almost there. And actually, this isn't the end. This is the beginning. We're almost there at the end of the beginning. And this is going to be the beginning of the next part of the story. Okay. So that is my weekly TRVL update. If there's any questions, just come into Telegram. You can ask me. You can, just like Kitty Kami did, or you could come, you can ask me on my X page. Happy to answer any questions. Okay, moving on. I'm going to do a very, 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 very quick update on QANX. And I do this every Fridays. I'm doing a QANX update. So now I'm just kind of merging that with a weekly TRVL update, just because I'm quite busy out here in El Salvador. And I'm trying to do a lot of things here for D-Travel and for TRVL. And so while I still have my investment in QANX, I'm not touching that, because I know that quantum computing is going to break Bitcoin in the future. And I think anyone who doesn't have a little bit of this token is mental nuts. Like this is your pension, isn't it? This is your guarantee for retirement early, but not financial advice. But hey, so we're coming into this area, huh? we're coming into this area of interest. Now, the last week I was talking about this area has to hold. Let's not think about lower until we see what happens here at this area. That's kind of what I was talking about. This is it, isn't it? Look, see that? I was thinking about, let's see what happens here first. And nothing's changed, has it? So I didn't say we're going lower. No one knows, yeah? I didn't know that we're going to go lower. But I did kind of last week say, let's see what happens here first. Because until we see what happens here first, we don't know what's going to happen next. Yeah. And right now we're still not at the place where we're going to get the big test. I did say possibly the POC was front run. And I did say that possibly we would come back down for a real test of the point of control and this trend line. And that's kind of what we want to see, isn't it? We really want to see a reaction. We want to see this area hold, don't we? If we get that and then we start to go up with a nice volume and a nice reaction, then this is it. That's it. The bottom's in. And that's what we got. Yeah. And if not, then we're going lower. And it's really that simple. Let's not think lower until we see what happens here where the price should hold. It's the overall point of control. We've got this funky trend line that hasn't really been tested since we faked out of it here. It was tested there. We kind of didn't test it here. And so it'd be nice to get a test. It'd be nice to find support here over the next week somehow and see that the price is holding here. If that happens, and then that coincides with the rest of crypto and Bitcoin and everything else, then there's a really good chance that that's it. That's our support hold. And then we can see the price expands to the upside and go right back up to try and get back into this range. There's a little bit of a range here. That's really what we want to see next. And we want to see the price go up, get back into the range, and then push type thing. Get right back up to the value area high. That's what we want to see. We want the price test the highs again. Keep on testing the highs. So at the moment, there's nothing to panic about. It's just a buy the dip opportunity at the moment, coming into an area where the price should hold and find support above the point of control. Okay. I'm going to draw the volume now, but I don't really see any point because I can clearly see there's no real injection of volume in the last few days to change this. Yeah, I can see it on this volume chart. There's no real extra volume that's going to make any difference here. And that's all we're getting right now. The potential for a test, a real test. It's a good place to buy if no one has any of this token. And then we just need to get above some kind of local SR flip. And then we need to just pump up, take out those highs. And this is going to, well, we hopefully will start to see some volume come in. That's what we want to see. It's the same as what I said last week or the week before. We want to see volume to take the price higher to higher prices. All right. So that's kind of my weekly QANX update. There's nothing really else to say because it's just kind of doing what I thought it might do. Now we have the test. Let's call that phi. Let's hide that. Let's have a look at these candles. Monthly time frame candles coming to an end. I would like to see the monthly close above the previous month low. I would like to see that. I don't really want to see it close lower. Closing lower would mean that this candle becomes a bearish engulfing, and I don't want to see that on the monthly time frame. So any bulls out there, when it comes to the end of the month, just make sure you buy it up so that we close. The close is important. If you're bullish and you want to see this remain bullish without any uncertainty or doubt, then what we want to see is a close above the previous month low, above 2708. Okay, on the monthly time frame. That would be great. Okay, if it closes lower, this becomes a bearish engulfing candle. And while it could be a bear trap, it's also problematic because the price usually, when that happens, it goes up and it rejects from where the bearish engulfing begins. And so that's just kind of what you want to avoid. If you close above it, the previous month low, then it's not a bearish engulfing, and then all it is a monthly level, and that's it. So it's a different kind of meaning to that candle depending on how it closes this month. And so ideally, if you're bullish, let's just keep it closed above the previous month low. Then the next month should be a nice green bullish expanding candle. And then if we can close next month in October, if we can close, is it November, October, sorry. If we can close above the previous, it would be the red candle, the previous month high, then you end up with a bullish engulfing, and then this whole thing becomes like a reversal and it becomes extremely bullish. So I'm kind of just imagining the future in terms of the future candles and what would make this look really bullish. So it would be really bullish if we close above the previous month low. Then it'll be really bullish if we close the next month's high above this month's high, close next month's close above this month's high, and then you end up with an inside candle close with a bullish engulfing continuation. That would be really bullish, and then this whole thing starts to look mega bullish. Okay, so I'm just kind of imagining the future when I say shit like that, and again, we're just in this kind of tightening range, and we just have to hold here now. All right. That's QANX pretty much. Let me go as I do. I'm just going to have a look at the Quan platform. X page. Quantum milestone week. What's this? Alice and Bobcat's qubits exceeded expectations with over 1 hour of bit flip resistance. This is 4 times their previous record and millions of times longer than standard qubits. Wow. This performance gives them confidence to meet their 2030 goal of building an early fault-tolerant quantum computer with 100 logical qubits. At the same time, Europe flipped the switch on VLQ, a 24-qubit star topology quantum computer in the Czech Republic. This system connects every qubit for maximum efficiency. This is all technical. I have no idea, but it looks amazing. The ecosystem is evolving from labs to real-world applications. HSBC and IBM showcase what they claim to be the world's first quantum-enabled algorithmic trading, while Cisco introduced software to connect quantum computers and enable new classical applications on top. Wow, 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 wow. This is it. This is it. It's gonna happen, yeah? It's gonna happen. When it happens, you want to be positioned in, and you never want to sell, really, to be honest with you. You can take profit, but you never really want to sell. It's like people investing into Ethereum and at $1 and selling at $10 and never being able to buy back in. Effectively, you don't want to be in that position. Okay, so this is looking quite exciting, isn't it? That news was just released an hour ago. So this is really interesting. I like that. Still no idea about the mainnet. But yeah, look, Quan platform went to the Korea blockchain week or whatever it's called. So amazing. My 2 projects that I followed, D-Travel and Quan platform, they both went to the same event. How cool is that? So that's kind of my QANX update for Friday. My next update will be next Friday. I do like last 3-month candle, this red candle. I really do like it. This one here. It's a swing failure of the previous candle closing high. I really like it with a crazy buying tail. You see, we've put in just as much volume in the last 3 months. And this is a new 3-month candle. For me, this is looking really nice, really bullish. So we're about to close this 3-month candle, and I really think this is looking quite bullish. These 3 monthly candles, these 3 red months. Look at these. We've got 2 red months. 2 3 monthly candles that are red, and we're only 14% lower. So I think that's really bullish. What's forming here? All right, that's my Friday update. I'm going to create a little video and just cut it and then push it out. If you can just like it, that would be appreciated. Liking on YouTube would be really helpful, actually, because I'm still trying to build my my YouTube page, even though I'm only doing one stream a week at the moment. Just because I'm here in El Salvador, I'm just really busy with D-Travel, but I'm at 909 subscribers. So if I can somehow get 91 more, then I can get to 1,000. That would be a real milestone for me. It'd be nice to do that before we have a breakout on QANX, wouldn't it? It'll be fun. So if you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate your support. All right. Until next Friday, I hope you have a good weekend. Take care, guys.